Regular BBC daytime viewers will recognise these giants of the antiques world who light up our screens with their wisdom and charm.
More than doubled my money.
But what sort of things do our experts get up to when they're not on the telly? Well, we're about to find out, as over the course of 1 week, we'll be seeing one pair of plucky heavyweight dealers face a different daily challenge. Some of those challenges will be familiar territory. Yes. And some will be pitching our experts into the unknown.
Bang, bang, bang.
They'll be going head-to-head in a battle for profit, showing us how they've risked their own money and reputations by recreating some of their real-life deals.
Profit, profit and more profit.
And if the stakes weren't high enough already, each expert has a favourite charity that will be benefiting from their profits. The challenge to our experts is clear. Put your money where your mouth is. Today's hard-nosed dealers are our very own collectibles gent, Paul the man from Morecambe Hayes, and the radiant First Lady of Antiques, Kate Absolute Bliss. With a father who was an auctioneer, Kate has spent her life surrounded by antiques and is a renowned independent valuer, agent and broker with over 12 years of experience under her belt. Her position as the First Lady of Antiques comes from dispensing expert advice on bargain hunt and flog it.
Will you do 20?
I'll do it for 25.
I think that's fair.
Just like his opponent, Paul grew up in the world of antiques. His father was a dealer and our blue-eyed boy has been buying and selling since he was 6 years old. Ah.
Now, there is a hallmark on it. I think it dates late 20s, early 30s, the Birmingham hallmark. Guilloche enamel, and the enamel is complete.
He's worked as an independent dealer for 10 years and is in a league of his own when it comes to rooting out cash in the attic and turning the trash to cash. So we have the experts, they have the knowledge, the contacts and a fierce desire to win. So without further ado, it's time to find out the name of today's game.
Good morning, Kate.
Hey, how are you?
Are you well?
Yeah, pretty good. How about you?
I'm fantastically well, actually.
Still quite early, isn't
Full of the
it?
joys of spring, and I've got another one of these envelopes.
Well, that was
What's
landed
going
in
on?
my hand.
I'm going to have a word with my postman. So let's have the ladies first, then.
Okay. Paul and Kate,
Yes?
your challenge today is to spend £250 of your own money on antiques.
It's getting a habit, isn't it, this?
You must then resell your purchases with the aim of making as much profit as possible.
Okay.
Now, the winner is the presenter who makes the most cash.
Right, OK. And today's challenge, today you must buy all your antiques from a car boot sale.
A car boot sale?
Antiques and car boot sale, there we are.
I bet you're a bit of a pro at these car boots.
Well, do you know, it's quite surprising what you can find, actually. Lots of cars and lots of boots. So come on, good luck.
All right.
Cars and boots, eh? What a loss to the comedy world. Jokes aside, though, there's a serious business to take care of today. Kate and Paul are in Birmingham, Britain's second city, to do battle at the Oakenfield Farm car boot sale. Auctioneer Kate is definitely out of her comfort zone here, but Paul's experience of boot sales on Car Booty should give him an advantage sorting the gems from the junk.
Now, the secret is when you come to a car boot sale is to get here early. The best time, really, is when people are unpacking, because literally you can find things worth 10 or 20 pounds for 10 or 20 pence. And also, you can negotiate. What item you do tend to find here, people will talk to you on price, and sometimes you can get yourself a bargain. But first things first, the early bird catches the worm. See you later.
Well, he might not make the Olympics running like that, but Morecambe's favourite antiques expert is determined to try and steal a march on his rival. He's not the only one trying to hit the ground running, though.
Now, while these car booters are setting up, my plan for today is to get out of the starting blocks as quickly as I can and stay ahead of Paul. Now, even if I can't find anything, I'm going to try and look busy and see if I can get him rattled.
So Miss Bliss is going to be employing a little psychological warfare today, but as she zips about from boot to boot...
Right, let's press on a bit.
Paul has got a bigger problem to deal with. It seems as though Mr. Morecambe is pretty popular in these parts, and he's finding it difficult to concentrate on the job at hand.
Oh, I've got his.
You all right? How are you? That's all right. How are you? Nice to meet you. That's right. Oh, well, thank you very much. Oh, hello there. How are you? All right? Nice to meet you.
Very smart.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's lovely to see you in the flesh.
Oh, well, same to you, love.
Set her off the
God bless you.
table.
Give us a kiss.
Watch your programme.
Thank you,
You're very welcome. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're all right? There you are. Doesn't take much, does it?
Yes, if I didn't know better, I'd say Kate has paid the locals to keep Mr. Hayes occupied.
We're off now to Castagnetti.
That's right, yeah. How you doing, mate? All right?
And whilst he's busy meeting his public, she swooped in to try and make the first buy of the day.
Hello there.
Hello.
Can I have a look at your violin?
Of course you can, yeah.
Great. Where did this come from?
Oh, it was bought for my daughter by the grandparents.
So she's learning, is she?
Well, she was.
Right.
Didn't last very long.
They didn't like each other.
No, not at all.
What do you want for that?
Well, we were asking 25.
It's very modern, Chinese modern. They were churned out in quite large numbers, these ones. I know you got the bow. I'm really looking for about £10.
I'd be willing to perhaps go to, 15. No.
15? If it was a bit older, then I'd say yes, but it is really modern, and the thing is, these were manufactured to a penny. They churned them out. So I think,
Okay.
£10?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Now let me have a little rummage in my pocket. That's great. Wonderful. Thank you very much indeed.
Friendly she might be, but Miss Bliss drives a hard bargain. While she's been busy buying, though, our very own 006.5 is finally getting down to business.
Hiya, mate. All right? No, then how much is this lot here?
Oh, we're going to do £15 for the lot.
OK. Are they all in good condition?
Yeah, there's a few cracks.
That's got a little crack, hasn't it? And how many is there altogether?
There's 10 altogether.
It's 10 altogether. Are you a James Bond fan?
Kind of.
Kind of. Can't see you under there, mate. How about a tenner? Does that sound?
I'll do a tenner for the lot, yeah.
Will that be all right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's smashing. All right, that's it. Deal done. I'm at Paul, 006.5.
So Morecambe's very own secret antiques agent is up and running, but why has he splashed the cash on these modern collectibles?
Now, I must admit, I do often try to avoid modern items, but these are really good. I mean, I'm a massive James Bond fan. I mean, I think this DB5 is the ultimate car. But we have 10 cars here, actually, which all relate to the Bond movies. So you've got two collectors here. You've got anybody that's interested in vintage models and anybody interested in James Bond. And for £10, at the end of the day, there's 10 models here. It's £1 each. So I think that's a bit of a bargain, really.
Paul might be in 007 heaven and driving off with his first buy of the day, but when the credits roll on today's challenge, will he be Dr. Know-It-All? Or will Kate be our very own Miss Money Penny?
How much do you want for those?
£6 a pair.
£6 a pair.
With our experts having bought one item each, they're running neck and neck. But both are desperate to part with their money and get their noses in front.
It's a bargain, actually, that, I think.
Yeah.
What is that, sir?
It's a rangefinder.
Kate might be a woman on a mission, but Paul's got his ear to the ground. He spotted a picture from the 1930s.
Oh, mate. How much is your sketch? Hello.
It might not be a Van Gogh, but Paul thinks there's a potential profit in it.
It always does pay to have a good look round. And hidden away underneath this stall is this lovely little pastel drawing. And it's very well painted. I think it's quite an amateur painting, but the subject is very Art Deco, and that's very trendy at the moment. At the end of the day, we have an original pastel on canvas. It's nicely framed. Value-wise, 20, 30 quid. I just got it for a £5. What a bargain.
When it comes to haggling, Mr. Morecambe is in the Premier League, but his opponent knows how to net herself a bargain too. And although Paul might have taken the lead, Kate's determined not to play second fiddle.
Well, it's a good job I've got an estate car. Look what I've just bought, this lovely little cello. Now, it's not a full-size cello, but it's ideal for a child. Now, it needs a little bit of work. We've got a screw missing here on the spike, which holds it up. So if I put it down here, we just got to carefully put that down. And of course, it needs a new set of strings. Well, that's not going to set me back very much. The bridge needs fitting. That holds the strings up. But apart from that, it's in good condition. What you've got to look for with instruments like this is any cracks or anything damage-wise that's going to affect the sound, because that's what's important. And this looks in pretty good nick. I think I might have beaten Paul to this one, and it might be just what I need to get me ahead of him. All I need now is to find a cellist.
They might not be spending big bucks today, but the competition is still fierce.
Warm enough for you?
Yes, thank
you.
I'll tell you what's amazing, you know, I've tried to get ahead of the game here, but Kate's always 3 stalls ahead. What's going on? She's like a whippet.
Steady on, old boy. I'm not sure Kate's going to be terribly impressed about being called a whippet. Don't forget, our 2 experts can spend up to £250 before selling their items wherever they want to make as much money as possible for their chosen charities. Having fallen behind, Mr. Hayes is combing every inch of the boot sale to try and find another potentially profitable piece.
Are you all right, mate?
Yeah, it's not too bad, sir.
Anything interesting in here?
Well, a few bits and pieces.
I'm after a big diamond ring for about £3. You haven't got one?
No, this is where's that?
What's that little box, sir? Let's have a look at the box.
Papier-mâché.
Oh, right. That's quite a nice little item, isn't it, actually? Is that a family piece or something you bought? Or?
It's just the wife's.
All right. How much is that?
15.
Is it all right? There's no damage or anything on it?
There is some damage on the one corner.
Oh, I see, yeah.
But that's the original box, so you expect a bit of damage.
Yeah. How about a tenner?
12.
12. You said that very fast there, didn't you?
I did, yes.
12. That's your best, is it? 12.
It is, yeah.
All right. I'm not going to argue. Everyone's got to make a living.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Cash, all right?
Yes, that's no problem.
Call it a tenner, shall we?
Yeah. No.
No. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, that was short and sweet, and the papier-mâché box helps Paul to close the gap on Kate. Miss Bliss isn't a woman to sit on her laurels, though, and she's on the lookout for more items with the potential to serve up a tasty profit.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want for that, madam?
A pound, please.
A pound?
That's good.
I think I've got a pound in here somewhere. There you go. Lovely. Thanks a lot. Well, look at this lovely leaf dish I've just found for £1. Now, this moulding of leaves with veins is typical of the Victorian period. And you see a lot of pieces made by Minton in this sort of style. Now, this is a modern one, unfortunately. Turn it over, and we've got the factory mark on the bottom there for Shorter and Son. Now, they were making pieces all the way through the late 20th century. I think this piece is very late, though. But nevertheless, for £1, even if I get a couple of pounds profit, it all goes in the pot and helps my charity.
It might not be the biggest buy she's ever made, but Kate's right. Every penny helps. With hundreds of pounds still to spend and countless boots still to rummage through, though, there's no let-up in our experts' quest to uncover some car boot bargains.
Anything interesting in antique?
How did she get that to stand up?
Anything old and interesting?
I'll leave that one to you. Thank you.
Oh. Anything antique or designer? Only me. Only you.
Well, it's baking here today. I wore the wrong thing, but I've managed to pick up 3 or 4 things now, and some of them I think I've got quite a good chance of making a profit for my charity. The thing I like about places like this is it's all fresh to the market. Everybody's here to do a deal, and I'm in my element, actually.
Well, it sounds as though it's absolute bliss for Kate, but with the outcome of today's boot sale hanging in the balance, both our experts are keen to get some vital intelligence on their opponent's progress.
What a great way to make a living. I mean, people put down car boot sales, but look at this. It's fantastic, isn't it?
The thing is, there's such a variety here. I mean, I've seen everything from bath taps to Barbie dolls.
Yes, I saw those myself.
I tell you what, I've seen loads of things that my kiddies would like. If only I had more time here, it'd be great.
Well, that's it. Time is the essence. Now, we were here first thing, and I noticed you were off like a whippet. And I did notice I was always 2 or 3 stalls behind you.
Oh, is that right? You're making excuses now.
No. So have you bought quite well?
I bought a few things. Yeah, I thought I might buy more, actually, but it's just finding that right thing, isn't it, at the right price.
Yeah.
But, it's trying to find something quality, because a lot of these are household goods, and
yeah,
it's trying to find something that you can sell on straight away.
That's right, and it's
What
all for
about
charity,
you?
if you think about it. Yeah, exactly the same situation. There were a couple of things I wanted to buy, but I bought 1 or 2 things on.
Sounds good, sounds good.
Sounds all right.
Well, I'm going to carry on.
OK.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
So, having met up and learned absolutely nothing useful about how the other's getting on, it's back to the boots for our intrepid experts. They're desperate to find that killer item that will send them soaring to success. But having reached the halfway stage of the buying day, it's time to find out who deserves a half-time orange and who's got a case of sour grapes. Remember, our experts can spend up to £250 of their own money. Kate might be enjoying herself, but so far she's only spent £36, leaving £214 in her kitty. She's still the biggest spender though, because after spending time saying hello to all and sundry, Paul's only parted with 27 quid, leaving him £223 still to spend. With everything still to play for, our two contenders have wasted no time getting back to the boots.
Anything interesting here? Anything antique?
Oh, I like your drawings.
Okay, if you think of anything, give me a shout on the way around. All right.
And with today's contest too close to call, they're both desperate to land the next blow.
Let's have a look. Ah, here we are. This is a nice little item. Now, do you know what? I think I found something here. This is a nice bit of silver, and the combination with silver and cut crystal has always been popular. But this one's been enamelled. And the process is called gouache enamelled, and it was developed by Carl Fabergé, that fantastic Russian jeweller. And what he did, he worked out a system of engraving the surface of the silver and then overlaying it with a glass paste in a different colour, and you have pinks and blues. The whole thing's beautiful. What a quality item. It's been gilded inside, again, another sign of quality. And there is an English hallmark here, which at my reckoning is Birmingham, probably about 1920, that sort of time. What a fantastic item. And it's in good condition. One little tip here, actually. If you ever get this damaged, it's a nightmare to restore. This one's in nice tip-top condition, so it's worth buying, depending on the price. You all right, mate?
All right.
How much are you looking for that?
Yeah, 15.
£15?
Yeah. To
15.
you?
To me? Anyone else a tenner? £15.
Anyone else 20.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, that sounds a reasonable price at £15, actually.
Yeah.
OK, you haven't got a whole set of it, have you?
I wish I had.
OK, that sounds great. That's a deal. Thank you very
Right
much.
there.
Cash or cheque? Give me that 20.
Yes, I think cash is the answer to that question, Paul. The attractive crystal and enamel pot takes Mr. Morecambe into the lead in the buying stakes, but he's still on the hunt for more quality collectibles.
Anything antique or designer? Anything designer? Any Gucci or anything like that? Or Gucci? Lacoste? No designer clothes or anything like that? Or, no. All right, not to worry. Nice to see you.
Well, it doesn't take long for his legwork to pay off.
Ah, now then. I spotted an antique. I think it's the first one here today, actually. This is a 19th century wine jug. And so it dates sort of 1850, 1900. And it was used in hotels and taverns for travellers to enjoy a good drink. Very simply made, often in Staffordshire. And the big problem is there are thousands of factories making identical items. But I know it's a wine jug because it has this vine leaf on there. Can you see? All these grapes and vines. So that's its original intention. There's a slight chip on the bottom, but that's a genuine antique. Let's see how much it is. What are you asking for this, mate?
50p, please.
50p? All right, well, that sounds all right. Does it come with a free bottle of wine?
It doesn't.
All right, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I like that. I'm going to give you £1 for that. How's that sound?
Thank you very much.
All right, you're very welcome. OK, good luck.
My goodness, there's no end to that man's generosity. It is another purchase, though, and with the clock beginning to tick down towards the end of the day, Kate can't afford to slip behind any further, so she needs to start sealing some deals of her own.
Hi there.
Hello, you guys.
Where did these come from?
Oh, they're my dad's. He was in the World War II, so I'm guessing they're from there.
What do you want for them?
£30?
30 for the lot?
Yeah.
Some of them aren't in great condition, are they? They're quite faded.
Yeah.
No. Will you do 20?
I do it for 25.
I think that's fair. 25 it is. Here we go. That's 40 there.
Brilliant, thank you. 15.
That's great. Lovely.
Okay.
Let's tuck that in there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
And you. Bye.
Miss
Bye.
Bliss seemed very quick to do a deal there, so what exactly has she bought?
Well, I think I've got a bit of a lucky buy here. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and the stall holder was literally just putting these out on the stall, and I zoomed in on them. Now, what we've got here is a quantity of stereoscopic cards. Now, What they are the equivalent of picture postcards of today, and you would place them in a stereoscopic viewer to look at them, rather like you'd look at photographs on a laptop today. So we've got lots of different subjects here, the sort of thing that you would snap while you're on holiday or that tourists would like as souvenirs. Here we've got views of Welsh costumes, and again here we've got, and it's titled this one, a Devonshire cottage, lovely little thatched cottage there, and brackets Upton near Torquay. Some of them aren't in great condition. There's one here of the Giant's Causeway, which is really quite faded, and that's a shame because this one has the manufacturer's or the photographer titled on the side there, William H. Rao photographer, which is really nice. And this one, again, we've got Devonshire stereoscopic photographs on the side there, and you've got the photographer again, Twiss & Sons, Ilfracombe. Now, there's quite a specialist market for these, and I think if I can find the right buyer, the right collector, there might be a tidy profit in those.
Nicely done, Kate. That opportunistic buy has made Kate today's hot favourite. But Paul's earlier trawl round the car boot sale in search of antiques pieces looks as though it's paid off again.
All right, do you know, I wouldn't have thought I saw you again. I'm going to ask you if you had anything unusual. So what is it then?
That is quite unusual. It's a HMS shipping on the...
Oh, yeah, HMS Nigeria.
HMS Nigeria.
There we go.
Right there.
Quite nice. So are you from a naval background then or something?
No, I'm not. No, it was given to me by quite a lot of different odds and ends, clearing the house out, you know, there.
All right.
I picked it up then. I was nearly never bought it with me this morning. I just thought I'll take it with me, just see if I get some valuation on it or whatever, you know.
Well, that's it. Well, I've never seen one before like it. I mean, how much is it?
Well, I was £50, but you can have it for 10.
Hang on, I didn't even negotiate. I didn't say that moving my lips. So it's a tenner?
Yes, a tenner, yeah,
right.
It's a tenner, yeah.
OK, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have that. I'm going to take a chance on it.
Yeah.
Have you got 10 quid, what, change of a 20?
I haven't got a £10, no, I haven't.
Can I owe you £1 a week, is that all right? I'm here again in September.
I don't take deposits or weekly payments.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to buy you a cup of tea and we'll get some change then.
OK, lovely, thank you.
It was only a matter of time before Mr. Hayes found his way to the tea van, but he's bagged a real antique thanks to a lot of hard work and a little northern know-how.
Now then, one thing I always do when I come to car boot sales, and I seem to do it naturally, is to talk to the stall holder and ask them whether they have one of two items, anything antique and anything designer-made. And the reason for the designer-made items is that some of these Gucci, Vivienne Westwood, Chanel, some of these items fetch a fortune now. There's a ready market for them if they're old items. And of course, antiques are always sellable goods. But why I ask that as well is a simple reason that not everything might be on the stall. And a perfect example of that is that I asked this gentleman whether he had anything antique, and he said he had something from HMS Nigeria, but he hadn't been able to find it. And what happened, he found it, brought it straight to me, and I was able to buy it off him. And what we've got here is a seal from the original HMS Nigeria. And if you have a look, it's actually written backwards for the simple reason this would be used to press into red hot wax when an important document was actually sent off. And what it would do would be leave the impression the right way round, and that couldn't be broken then, so it was kept secret. But just goes to show, only by asking I was able to buy this.
You see, behind those boyish good looks lurks a keen, competitive mind. But he's up against a dedicated opponent today who's determined to bag another potentially profitable piece and win today's boot sale challenge.
You've got loads of jewellery, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, what about your bag? Let's have a little look at this. Now, what do you want for this, sir? You've got £16 on it.
£8.
Lovely, we'll do that. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Great.
Put it in the bag.
OK, that's great. Well, I think that's a pretty good little buy. Now, back home, I've got a dealer who deals in costume and period little bags. Now, I think that's quite late, but it's certainly in the 30s style, and gold is very in at the moment. Fingers crossed. That's great. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Well, the name of the game is to make as much profit as possible, so having buyers lined up for some of the things she's bought is a real advantage. With time almost up on today's contest, Kate is out in front. And having trawled the boot sale for genuine antiques, will the pressure of being behind persuade Mr. Hayes to switch tactics?
Oh, no, hello there, you two.
Hi.
You all right? How much is the canteen? Let's have a look.
45 or new?
OK. Is it all there?
It is complete.
Even got the polish for it if you want.
Well, that makes a difference. Was it yours or was it a...
No, it's mine.
Right. They're quite expensive things to buy, these.
They are, actually.
But I can't see a profit in that, I'm afraid.
Really?
So, I'm sorry.
What would you like to offer me?
Well, I'm going to leave it because it's quite a modern piece, so I don't think it's going to be for me.
What, make me an offer?
Come on now, Paul. This lady sounds like she's ready to do a deal. The aim of the game is to make a profit. Why not make her an offer?
How about £15?
You're such a good-looking guy, then I'll accept it.
Is that all right with you?
It is.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to try that again. All right, I'll have that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I'll tell you something now. I'm going to help myself to a posh bacon sandwich.
OK, you do.
Never mind bacon sandwiches, Mr. Hayes. You need to splash a bit more cash and buy yourself a bit more booty.
Canteen set now, £115. Any offers? Now then, there you are. I think I've got a really good buy here, actually. I've just been to the stall there and I bought a canteen of cutlery. And these are great presents for people, especially if someone's getting married. This is a sort of traditional item to give. But it is EPNS, which is electroplated nickel silver. So it's not solid silver, but it's high quality. This would cost over £200 in a good high street shop. I've just got it for £15, which I think is an absolute bargain. There must be a bit of profit left in it. But I think that's a really great item. Silver and silver-plated items are very, very popular. The condition is A1, it's perfect. So there must be a profit on 15 quid. Let's see how we get on.
And with Kate also on the hunt for one last purchase, this clash could go either way. Both our experts have spent modest amounts of money today, so they've both got the chance to make one last star buy. But will it be Mr. Morecambe?
Hello, see you later, mate. Bye.
Oh, what do you want for your flower pots?
Who seals that final deal?
Ah, now then, recognise these two guys? You probably don't, actually. Look at that. Ant and Dec. It's that way around, isn't it? There we are. And these are some autographs. Isn't that fantastic? This was at a time before they were famous, really, when they just started out. It looks like Biker Grove days, doesn't it? But these are good things to buy for the simple reason they've now become household names. And when you get them early in their career, people sometimes will pay quite a lot for them. They look original. I can't see why anybody else would put two pieces of paper signed on Ant and Dec. I mean, I suspect a forgery of somebody famous like Elvis or Frank Sinatra or something like that. But I think they're dead right. They're a great thing for the internet. I think an Ant and Dec fan would love those. You could actually take away the pictures, just frame up the autographs.
Well, Paul paid just £5 for the Ant and Dec pictures, and although he might not be the last of the big spenders, they're a good final buy. With time now up on today's car boot sale, let's find out who's racing to success and who's stalled on the start line. Don't forget our two experts could have spent up to £250. Paul's parted with a grand sum of £73. He might have bought 8 items, but he's left with £177 still unspent in his kitty. His opponent hasn't fared too much better, though. Kate has spent £69 on just 6 items, leaving 181 quid unspent. They might not have gone crazy with the cash, but our two experts are still desperate to win today's contest by making the most profit for charity. Before they set to work selling their wares, though, they're keen to cast a close eye over their opponent's booty.
Ah, now then, hello, Kate. There you are. You well?
Well, I don't know about you, but I am absolutely pooped.
Yeah, I've lost the feeling in my feet. I've walked that far today. It's been good fun, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been really good. Yeah, so what do you got?
Well, you know, I thought you'd never ask.
Let's have a peek.
I bought a beautiful pastel painting, 1930s, and that was £5. Can you believe that?
Well, that's pretty good,
That's
isn't it, for an original pastel?
I think that's great. I bought 10 James Bond cars for a tenner.
Not bad.
Well, they must be great, mustn't they? And I got Ant and Dec for a £5. Where did you get that?
Bargain, bargain. I like your silver pot.
Yes. Now then, I'm surprised you didn't see this, actually, because you were romping away ahead, and that was on the stall.
You must have beaten me to that one, I think.
Right. Well, that was £15. So.
Well, that's pretty good, isn't
Can
it?
you give us a profit on it?
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure? All right, OK. So what have you bought then?
Well, I've got quite an assortment here. Come and have a look. I landed a cello. I thought it was only £25. I didn't think that was too bad for a cello. Obviously needs new strings.
Yeah.
The fiddle. Well, that was just a tenner.
Well, do you know what? I saw that violin. He asked me 30 quid.
Oh, well, you just don't talk the right talk.
I mustn't have the right accent or something.
No, I thought this was about your style.
Right. Oh, yeah, it's just me, that.
Little flappers back. But these, I think, are the most interesting buy today. And I think I just got lucky with these, actually. She just put them on the stall. And, of course, stereoscopic cards. And there's a real collector's market, isn't there? And if you've got the right one, and they can make good money, can't they?
They can make really good money. Have you got a viewer?
I haven't got a viewer. Perhaps sort one of those out.
But this is
maybe.
where the money is apparently in these. So yeah, no, I think you've done very well there.
So,
But your musical things are fantastic, I think.
yeah, well, I know quite a few musical people, actually. People who teach violin and cello, so I may be able to find a buyer there.
Well, that's amazing. You know, I think you've done really well today. I think they're fantastic.
I think you've done really well, too.
Well, let's find out, shall we? I'm going to go and sell mine.
Yeah, I'm going to head for home.
OK, right.
Nice to see you.
Catch you later. Good
Bye.
to see you.
Yes, they might be all smiles and politeness now, but as our two contenders head for home, the gloves will really come off as they try to make a profit. Paul will be hoping to sell the James Bond cars, the charming crystal and enamel pot, an attractive papier-mâché box, a silver-plated cutlery set and a 19th century wine jug, a naval seal, a 1930s painting, and 2 framed Ant and Dec posters with autographs. Miss Bliss is pinning her hopes on the Victorian-style leaf dish, a violin and cello, the fabulous stereoscopic cards, and a resplendent gold handbag. So, after a battle royal at the Birmingham car boot sale, our profit-hunting pair head home to prepare for the second part of today's contest.
Well, I was wondering if I could come and see you, actually. Yeah.
The aim of the game now is to sell their items and make as much money as possible. The winner will be the expert who makes the most cash for their chosen charity. And whilst Miss Bliss hits the phone trying to find some buyers for her wares...
How about Friday? I'll see you then. OK, bye.
It sounds as though Paul is having a few regrets about his purchases.
Now then, when you go to a car boot sale, it really is first come, first served. And that proved it today. Kate was off like a rocket. I couldn't catch her and I followed her around all the way and she picked up the best stuff. I would have bought that cello, I would have bought those stereographic pictures. I've come back with Ant and Dec, James Bond, and a pastel picture of a woman and a dog.
Well, it doesn't sound too promising for Paul, does it? If anyone can make a profit from his less than glamorous items, though, it's the Prince Charming of the antiques world. Paul's got the patter.
I'll tell you something, I'm not coming for a cup of tea at your house. Look at that.
Oodles of charm.
Here's a kiss. You're very welcome, thank you very much.
And he's determined to bank the first profit in today's clash.
I've come to Stone in Staffordshire to try and sell some of my collectible items. This is a great area for bits of pottery, silver, glassware, that type of thing, but it could go either way.
Paul's aiming to cash in on the silver and glass pot that he paid £15 for at the boot sale, but there are no guarantees of a success.
Hello, Tracy.
Hello.
How are you? All right?
I'm fine, thank you.
Now then, nice to meet you.
Nice
thank
to
you very
meet
much
you.
for your time. I brought you along that lovely little enamel pot.
Oh, right. The one that's...
Here we go. So there we are, that's the one. It's a beautiful colour, isn't it?
It is, it's gorgeous.
So is that the sort of thing that you're interested in then?
Very much my period, the 1920s, early 30s.
Right.
Absolutely gorgeous.
The Art Deco period.
I think the Art Deco period is coming back in because people tend to like the oranges and the blacks. And
Yeah, the very bright colours.
Yeah.
It fits in with that modern style, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Now, there is a hallmark on it. I think it dates late 20s, early 30s,
It is,
the Birmingham
yeah.
hallmark. Gouache enamel, and the enamel is complete. Do you see lots of this that the enamel gets damaged?
A lot of these that you come across are very badly damaged,
Yeah.
you know, which is such a shame. But that is gorgeous.
The dealer seems impressed and Mr Hayes is going in for a quick kill.
If I asked you £40, I mean, would that be too much for you?
What if I said 35?
A 35, is that a definite offer, £35?
It is.
OK. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, £35, I will agree to that. That sounds a great deal. But, can I interest you? I've noticed you do a lot of internet selling. Would you like to buy...
Let's get ready, let's get ready, let's get ready to rumble.
Signed photographs of Ant and Dec?
Ant and Dec. No, thank you.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, thank
Honestly,
you.
I thought they'd be really good.
Not my sort of thing.
Oh, all right. All right, well, those have to live another day then.
Yeah.
All right, so just the pot, then that's 35 quid. Sorry, lads, I have to work harder.
Yeah.
Well, it was worth a try, but Britain's favourite double act have failed to put any profit into Paul's pot. He has, though, made £20 from the sale of the silver and glass pot.
OK. Oh, that's lovely.
There you go.
Very
That's
much.
£35.
35, that's lovely. Thank you.
Okay,
All right, pleasure to
thank
see
you.
you, Tracy.
And you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
OK, bye.
Bye.
Well, Prince Charming may have made an early lead, but Miss Bliss is no damsel in distress, and she's determined to strike back quickly.
Well, I've come on a special trip up to London to see an expert in not only stereoscopic cards, just like mine, but also in contemporary 3D photography. I'm hoping he's going to shed some light on what I've got and maybe even buy them.
Remember, Kate paid £25 for the stereoscopic cards at the car boot sale, but her potential buyer really knows his stuff. So, if they're not up to scratch, he won't be parting with his cash.
Well, I understand you received the images that I sent you by email, and these are the actual cards. And I only sent you a couple of images, so you can see I've got quite, I think there were about 49.50 there, and a whole variety of views.
Oh, they're lovely.
So have a little look and tell me what you think.
People think they're very rare, and in Victorian times, well, we call them 3D cards now, but Victorians called everything stereo, because stereo meant seeing solid.
Right.
But 3D is a word that was conjured up in the 50s to make the movies. So people don't know the word stereoscopic now, but they do know the word 3D. A nice collection. Forth Bridge, people at the seaside, Roman ruins, people in a stream. They're fun. Very faded California mountains, not bad. It's a nice collection here and America. No Europe, apparently. Ilfracombe. How lovely.
So the Victorians were churning these out, were they? They were made in huge numbers?
Oh, about 100,000 a day were made in London alone.
Really?
In the middle of Victorian era. They were really, really popular.
And were they sort of like tourist items, like picture postcards today?
They were... People didn't travel in Victorian times, and they didn't have televisions, and they didn't have cameras. You know, not personally.
No.
So, with a stereo card, you put them into a viewer, which is...
Now, I recognise that one.
That's right. It's called a Holmes viewer, Victoria era.
Yes, you see these turning up at auction occasionally with the
That's
cards.
right. They fetch sort of 25, 30, 40 pounds in auction.
Yep.
But what happens is, people would have bunches of these, they'd buy them, they'd go into the viewer, and people could see other parts of the country and other countries and all over the world to places themselves they'd never ever get to. So it's like TV of the sort of Victorian era.
Fantastic, and I can see that's gone straight into 3D, you're
That's
right.
it.
And it really brings it alive, doesn't it, of course?
It's quite magical, and people loved them because it just transported them way and away, because otherwise it was just drawings. And here, for the first time, they could actually almost travel there. In 3D, you get in depth, so it's like being there.
They may have been cutting-edge technology in Victorian times, but the stereoscopic cards are collector's pieces now. The big question is, does this collector want to buy them?
Let's get to the nitty-gritty. Now, would you be interested in buying them? And if so, what do you think they're worth?
I'll let you know. I'll go and have a look.
All right, thank you. Well, that's really interesting. I've learnt more in the last 10 minutes with David about stereoscopic cards than I have in the last 10 years dealing with them in the sale room.
And as he inspects the cards, Kate waits with bated breath.
Well, let's just hope he takes a shine to my cards and that I might find a buyer here.
006.5 Hayes is on another mission, with a licence to make a killing on one of his car boot bargains.
OK, now, do you remember these cars? There are 10 of them, and they're all James Bond cars, so they should be a real collector's item. And I thought the best way to sell these would be on an internet auction site. I'm sure we get lots and lots of interest in them. You've got car collectors and you've got James Bond enthusiasts. So, they stand me at £10. I'm going to double my money. I'm going to charge £19.99 or £20. That's £2 each. It seemed a complete bargain, really. But I've taken the photographs. Just need to list them now.
So, whilst Morecambe's favourite antiques agent sets his sights on another sale, back in London, his arch-rival is hoping to do a deal for her stereoscopic cards. The collector has given them the once-over, but is he prepared to pay more than the £25 Kate bought them for?
So you've had a good look through?
Yep, no, there's some nice cards in there.
Oh, good. So are you interested?
The right price, yes.
OK, so what do you think?
I would like to, on average, £1 a piece.
Right,
for
OK.
the sort of general purpose, and maybe £3 or £4 the nice ones, which are 3 or 4.
OK,
So,
right.
110, how does that sound?
Oh, that sounds great. Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. That's super.
No, thank you very much.
Really interesting talking to you.
Nicely done, Miss Bliss. The stereoscopic cards have delivered an £85 profit and put Kate in the lead. She's not a woman to rest on her laurels, though, and has decided to enlist some help to plan out how to make the most money from her next 2 items.
Well, I've come to Leinster with my cello and violin to meet a really well-known local violin maker and restorer called John Langstaff. But I've also arranged to meet my friend Kirsten here, who's a really accomplished violinist. She plays in chamber groups and as a soloist. And I'm hoping I can pick both their musical brains, and between the three of us, we can come up with a plan how to best sell these instruments and, of course, make the most profit. Now, I'm pretty sure it's a Chinese mass-produced one that they knocked out in their thousands. But tell me what you think.
It obviously needs a bridge, a new set of strings.
Yes.
Probably a soundpost. The soundpost is probably the most critical part of an instrument in a way. In most European languages, it's called the soul.
Do you think it's got much soul, this piece?
Well, not a huge.
So, well, let me.
I'll do my best with it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, what do you think, Kirsten? Now, I know it's not a full size, is it?
No, 3/4 and just perfect for a beginner, say at the later end of primary school or just moved off to secondary school. Yeah.
So where do you think I might sell it, Kirsten?
Well, there's some very, very good local violin teachers.
Perfect. All right, well, that's a good plan. Thank you very much, both of you.
So John is going to restore the violin, and he's agreed to do it for mates' rates. He's also going to bring the cello back to life. And Kate is then going to try and sell it to one of her local schools. With his opponent in such a determined mood, Paul needs to make a sale. And it's time to find out if his James Bond cars will leave him in 007 heaven or staring into the jaws of defeat.
OK, we're back in my office. It's time to see how the James Bond cars have got along. So they're very popular items. Hopefully we've got a good price. Let's have a look. So we started the bidding at £19.99, which is £2 each. And we had no bids. I can't believe that. Do you know what, that's a bit suspicious. I think that's a government operation gone on there. It's a cover-up. Now, the problem is, because I've got 3 kids here, if I leave them lying around, they're going to be in bits by tea time. So I'm going to hide them now. Stay away, boys. Stay where you are. You're all mine. No, go away.
Where is he?
I've got no idea.
Never mind a government plot. Perhaps it's a kiddie conspiracy to get their hands on Paul's cars. It's a disaster for Mr. Hayes, though. It looks like he's going to have to use his golden eye to hunt out another buyer. Remember, the winner of today's clash will be the expert who makes the most money for their chosen charity. So far, Secret Agent Hayes has sold 1 item for £35 and made a £20 profit. Miss Bliss has also sold 1 item, but her buyer paid £110 and she made a very respectable £85 profit. So Kate is leading the way, and I think it's fair to say that with Mr. Hayes struggling to make big profits, she's enjoying herself.
I'm in my element, actually.
She stormed round the car boot sale,
Right, let's press on a bit.
sealed a great deal for her stereoscopic cards,
110 maybe, how does that sound?
and she's not afraid to kick a man when he's down.
And I did notice I was always 2 or 3 stalls behind you.
Oh, is that right? You're making excuses now.
No.
Now the First Lady of Antiques is determined to stretch her lead by selling an essential accessory.
I brought you a bit of glitz and glamour, Andrew.
Shoes, is it?
Well, no.
Oh, near enough.
Better than that. What every girl needs.
Absolutely.
What do you think? Well, it's 30s style, and gold, of course, is very in at the moment.
Well, I'll have to take your word for that.
And the beads are in really nice condition.
It does,
It's nice silk inside. There's a French label on the inside there. So, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure exactly how old it is, but it's certainly 30s style with the tassel fringe.
Yeah. We've got some bits and pieces here, some dresses and handbags, etc.
Yeah, I noticed you got a bit of costume.
But I'm not going to pretend to know what it's worth. I wouldn't have a clue.
Well done, Kate. It sounds like you've tracked down the perfect buyer.
How much is it?
Well, I tell you what, I'll do it for you for 35.
It's probably all its money, to be honest. I'll take a gamble at 25, if that's any help to you.
All right, well, that's great. 25, I'll take that.
OK, great. I'll get you some money.
Great.
Brilliant.
I knew it was your sort of thing, you see.
You got any shoes?
Well, he might not look the type for handbags and high heels, but the dealer's just given Kate a very nice £17 profit for her gold bag.
Lovely. That's brilliant.
Come and see me again if you can.
I will do.
Right.
As she racks up the sales, the pressure's growing on Paul. If he doesn't bank some money soon, his chances of winning today's competition are going to sink without a trace.
Now then, do you remember this little item here? It's the seal from HMS Nigeria. Now, I've been on the internet to try and find out some more information about this ship, but I've drawn a blank, really. So, I've come to the Imperial War Museum here in London. I'm going to meet a guy here on a park bench. It sounds very James Bond, but hopefully he can give me some more information about it and, more importantly, help me sell it for a profit.
Well, I think Daniel Craig can rest easy. Mr. Hayes might have designs on being on Her Majesty's Secret Service, but for now, he needs to concentrate on finding out as much as he can about the naval seal and maximising his profits when he sells it.
Ah, Nick.
Hello.
How are you?
Good to meet you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure. I know.
They're big guns, aren't they?
Absolutely enormous.
I've got one line for you. There is a cold wind blowing this evening.
Just call me 003.
Yes. Do you have the parcel?
I do indeed.
But what I brought along to show you is an item from HMS Nigeria. Can you
my
see
goodness.
that?
OK.
Now, I was thinking it was a seal to seal a letter with, or a letter on board. I mean, is that correct?
No, almost.
Almost.
What this is a stamp. It's an ink stamp. And it's for marking the letterhead of the official correspondence from the ship. So this might have been the captain's secretaries or something.
So how important was she during the Second World War? Did she play a vital role in it?
She was an important ship. She was what they called a colony-class light cruiser. So there's two things there. She's named after a colony, Nigeria. The whole class of ships were named after colonies. So you had HMS Jamaica, HMS Trinidad, HMS Ceylon. And the purpose behind that was to try and get the Empire behind the war effort.
Right.
To make them identify with ships. Now, the light cruisers were kind of medium-sized warships, if you like. They were the eyes and ears of the fleet. They went out in front looking for enemy ships.
Wow.
If they found anything smaller and faster, they could defeat it because they were well armed. If they found anything heavier and slower, they could get away from it.
Now, I did see on the internet that there is a connection to the elusive Enigma machine.
She was involved in an operation to catch and capture a German weather ship and capture it before they could throw the Enigma machine in the water, which they duly did. So they captured the Enigma machine and some of the code books and brought it back.
And that's fantastic, and that helped then the effort to translate these codes and gave us a step ahead.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it's a wonderful item. Just the history of the ship there, to have something from it, I think is fantastic. I think I'm going to have no problem finding a buyer for this, but I really appreciate your time, Nick.
My pleasure.
Kettle's on. If you're ever in Morecambe, thank you very much for your time.
Very good to meet you.
Good luck. Same to you, mate.
So, having done his research, Paul's next task is to try and sell the seal.
Now, I've actually contacted a gentleman by email and sent a photograph of this item, and I'm going to ring him now, see if he is interested. So, just bear with me a second. Here we go. OK, fingers crossed.
Never mind your fingers, Paul. If you want to win today's contest, you need to cross everything you can think of, because Miss Bliss is pulling out all the stops to sell her restored cello and violin.
I'm on my way to Luckton School, which is in North Herefordshire, and I've spoken to the headmistress and the bursar on the telephone, and they certainly seem really interested in my instruments. They've just introduced a new strings programme where their pupils can learn a violin or a cello for free at the school. So my instruments would fit in really well, and I'm hoping once they see them, I might be able to make a sale.
So, with Kate hunting down another sale, this is a massive moment for Paul. Will the buyer he contacted online be interested in buying the naval stamp from HMS Nigeria?
Oh, hello, Richard. Hi, Richard, it's Paul Hayes. Yes, did you receive the photograph of the seal that I have? Right. Well, I've had an interesting morning, actually. I've just found out that lots of interesting things about HMS Nigeria. Did you know it was involved in the Enigma? OK. And it turns out to be a letterhead printing block. It's not actually a wax seal. All right. He's had one before.
All this sounds promising, but don't forget, in order to make a profit, Paul needs to sell the stamp for more than £10.
What sort of price is the one that he had already? OK, would you be happy to match that? That's great. So if I posted this along, could you send us a cheque for £25? Would that be all right? OK, that's great. Well, that's really nice of you. Thank you very much for that. OK, look forward to that. Thank you. Bye.
It's not a massive profit, but Paul has secured a much-needed sale. He's made a £15 profit on the naval stamp and closed the gap on Kate. Miss Bliss, though, is in no mood to let victory slip from her grasp today. She's arrived at one of her local schools and has got straight down to business trying to sell her violin and cello.
There is a bow, but obviously it needs reherring, as you can see. Yes, it is a shame. But here's the fiddle.
Let's just have a look at this. This is a good beginner's instrument, but because the school is an expanding school and we're forever growing, we're always looking for new instruments. This instrument really would be ideal, I think. It's a good beginner's instrument. It's obviously factory made. We're going to have to think about some of the logistics of the case and the bow.
So the teacher sounds interested, but can Kate get him to pay more than the £10 it cost her at the boot sale?
Well, I'm looking for around about £50 for it. With the case, of course.
I think that would be probably about right.
Wonderful. Well, let me show you the cello, because this is rather a better model.
Well, that is music to Kate's ears. She's made a £40 profit on the violin, and as she sets about selling the cello, Mr. Hayes has spotted an unexpected opportunity to make some more money.
Right, OK, now talk about a bit of luck. I'm here in Stone in Staffordshire, and I've just noticed that this pub is just about to be open. It says we will be open at 12 noon on Friday. Now, all good new premises need a canteen of cutlery. I think this is absolutely perfect location to sell this item. I've got one or two other bits, but I'm hopeful for this canteen. Bearing in mind it cost me £15, so a good profit on that would be great.
A good profit is exactly what Paul needs. But if he wants to make any money on the cutlery set, he needs to persuade the landlord to pay more than £15.
Now then, I must admit that's a welcome sight. Hello, are you the proprietor?
I am, yes, hi.
I'm Paul.
Hi, Paul, I'm Dave.
Dave, very pleased to meet you, Dave. Now, I did notice outside that this place is actually opening this evening.
How's that for a bit of luck? Day.
Now, how are you for catering? Have you bought your cutlery yet?
So I bought pretty much most of it, yeah. I bought some cutlery this morning, actually.
Never?
I did, yeah.
Right, but do you have more of a VIP clientele that you keep your best cutlery for?
We might do, we haven't done that yet.
Paul is working hard to secure a sale, but if he's going to have any chance of winning today's contest, he needs to make a big profit. Because despite his best efforts, he's been unable to sell quite a few of his items. Everything now rests on how much he can get for the cutlery set.
A silver-plated canteen of cutlery.
Wow.
Absolutely mint condition, complete with original certificate of authenticity and a guarantee for 25 years.
Back in Herefordshire, his opponent is also aiming to make one last big profit by selling her cello.
Great, so it looks like this instrument's had some work done to it as well.
Yes, it has. Now, I've had the bridge made and set. A violin maker and restorer in Leominster, in fact, did it for me. He's restrung it as well.
With our two experts striving to seal that killer deal.
There is a label inside for Mark Neukircher, which I think is the place where it was manufactured in Germany.
This contest could still go either way.
This might be a nice thing to use on a weekend, or you and the missus, something like that.
We'll find out very shortly who secured the decisive sale when we reveal the final totals. But after a fiercely fought car boot battle, how much cash have our two experts made? Well, Paul spent a total of £73 on items including the naval stamp, the glass and enamel pot, and the all-important cutlery set. Kate spent a measly £69 on items including the stereoscopic cards and her musical instruments. Don't forget, all the profits from today's clash will be going to charity, and neither of our experts know what the other has made. So, without further ado, it's time to reveal who is today's Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is champion.
Hello,
Good morning,
Dave.
Kate. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Do you know what? I've been dreading this one. I think you've won this one.
The car boot. Oh, I wouldn't say that. Don't say that till you see the figures. How'd you find it?
Well, I found I was in your wake. You were off like a rabbit and picked up all the best stuff. You had that lovely cello. and those beautiful stereoscopic pictures, and I bought all that.
Yeah.
So, and I was left with the dregs, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm not. I tell you what, I'll go to car boots now because I've only been to a couple. I picked up a few things for the kids, but I was surprised actually because there were a few things there.
Yeah, they're more like collectors' markets these days, aren't they?
Yeah,
Really? But
yeah.
I couldn't find anything much. I've actually got a few bits left.
I bet you're bluffing me.
No.
I bet there's a serious figure in there.
I'll let her out now if there is. You ready?
You go.
After 3, you 2.
All right. 2, 1.
Go on then.
Go.
Hey, look at that! Wow, that's a monster profit.
Well, I don't know. I actually had a bit of stroke of luck with the cello.
Yeah, gosh.
Because I found a school that wanted to buy it. So, and they paid me a fair price. So, and my restorer didn't charge me anything, so he was really kind.
Well, do you know what? That's talk about being beaten. There we are. That's wonderful. So, well, congratulations.
Well, I tell you what.
All right.
I think you deserve a bite to eat.
All right.
Should we go and find
You
somewhere?
can give me a few lessons on car boot sales.
I'll treat you.
Even though I do a programme. Don't worry about it.
So it's a victory for Kate. Despite his best efforts, Paul only made £30 from his cutlery set.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
All right,
You're very
cheers.
But Kate made a jaw-dropping sum for her cello. Remember, she bought it for just £25.
300, I think, is pretty fair for the instrument that we'd be getting.
Excellent. Is that all right?
Yes, I think we can happily take a cello off your hands as well.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much indeed. I've never really been to a car boot sale before, but somehow I've made £431. So I don't know what I did. It was a bit of a stroke of luck. The stereoscopic cars went well. The musical instruments went really well. So I'm happy.
Oh, I think Kate did a marvellous job today. She really concentrated on what she was buying. She bought some great stuff and she made a great deal of profit on it. So hats off to you, Kate. Well done.
Kate may have pulled off the deal of the day, but both our experts made a profit, and those profits will be going to very good causes.
So this task has turned out to be quite difficult, but I've still managed to send a cheque for £62 to children in need. So don't spend it all in the one shop.
Well, I am just delighted that I've managed to make £431 for St Michael's Hospice, and that will go towards them in the specialist care unit, looking after patients who are terminally ill and supporting their families.
So Miss Bliss may have won today's battle, but this competition is far from over.
Give me 220 for it.
I'd rather give you 180 or something like that.
180.
Because tomorrow our experts will be facing off at an antiques market.
It's pretty tricky, isn't it?
It's very tricky, yes. Yeah, it is a hard job.
I've been looking all around and trying to find something to make a profit is actually really hard.